Hello everyone, welcome back to the creepy screen and welcome back to my basement. I'm here today to demonstrate the online homework system to be used in two of my classes here in spring 2022, PSQF 6270, Generalized Linear Models, as well as PSQF 6243, Intermediate Statistical Methods. So I am going to be using the system for the generalized course here, but I will show you that they look exactly the same here in just a moment. So how do I get to the online homework system? Here is a link that you can click. When you open that link, it takes you to a page that looks like this. Analogously, if you're coming to us from 6243, your link to the online homework system is here. If you click it, it gives you a page that looks very similar except for the colors. All of my classes are color-coded for my own sanity and hopefully for yours as well. So each of these screens requests two pieces of information, your last name and your 8-digit Iowa ID number. So I am going to log into the system using one of my fake logins that I use for demonstration and testing purposes, last name 1, and then my password here. One thing to keep in mind, though, as you enter the system, is that the last name that it's looking for is whatever your last name is according to MAUI, M-A-U-I, the system for keeping track of classes, advising, and so forth. So if you go by two last names with a space in between, you would enter both with a space in between. If you go by two last names with a hyphen in between, you would enter it with the hyphen, and so forth. If there is a different name that you would prefer to use than what is currently in MAUI, please let me know and I can update the database accordingly. So I'm going to go ahead and log in with my dummy login here, and it will take you to a landing page. No thank you, Chrome. So this landing page provides two things. One is access to every homework that has been made available, right now just homework 0. And then second, as indicated below, your current standing in the class with respect to how many points have been made available and how many points you have earned. And that is for homework, for quizzes, as well as bonuses. So right now, nothing has been due, so everybody is at 0%. Likewise, once you log into the system for the other class, no thank you, Google, it looks very much the same except for the coloring. So we'll start from here. When a homework is available, you can click on the link and it takes you to the main page. At the top, it will tell you which class you're in, which homework this is, how many points it is worth total, as well as how many points are available from each of two sections. I'll demonstrate what those look like in just a second. It also gives you the due date. So subsequent to this practice homework, each homework will have files that need to be downloaded, and these are user specific. So you will each have an individual data set to be downloaded, as well as starter syntax files in all three of the programs. So those files to be downloaded will be up here. From here, the first type of questions after you get the instructions are computational. So the system is looking for numeric answers to the following questions. These questions can be answered by reading the course syllabus. So we will go through the answers here together. First up, how many regular homeworks are currently planned for this semester? So obviously this is going to be a whole number, but if it were some other kind of number, it would need to be entered to the nearest 0.01 for the system to judge it as correct. The level of precision with which your numbers need to be entered will be indicated on each homework. It's almost always going to be 0.01 though. So how many homeworks are we supposed to have? I know that the correct answer is 6 because I made the syllabus. But let's say that you take a guess and you guess 5. So I'm going to enter a 5 in the box. I'm going to hit enter on my keyboard and watch what happens. It turns red. So that lets me know that I do not yet have the correct answer. So let's try 6, which I know to be correct. I'm going to hit enter and voila, it turns green. So you know immediately if you are on the right track with respect to these questions. So how many points total are these homeworks worth? The correct answer this semester is 88 for both classes. How many of these points will you lose if you complete your work late? It is 1 point off for a late homework. But I want to point out that late work is accepted. You just have to take a 1 point penalty if you are unable to meet the deadline. Fortunately, though, for everyone, How many points of extra credit will you earn by completing this practice homework 0? You will earn 2. So the system allows you to check multiple answers at the same time. You can enter as many answers as you'd like, and I'm going to hit enter to show you what happens. They all turn green. So I know that the first section is correct. Then comes the trickier part, interpreting what the numbers are telling you. So this format is a little bit different. If you are as old as I am, you might recognize this as a Mad Libs format, the children's game in which you are asked to provide parts of speech absent of context. In this case, the context is the research question and answers that you are providing by doing this homework, and you will have drop-down menus as to what your possible choices are. So because this homework is about the syllabus, we continue with that type of information. So this is me. My name is Lisa. There is no Z. It is not Lessa either, just regular old Lisa. My office on campus. Yeah, this could be tricky, but it is on the south side. My office, by the way, is in the bridge that connects the north and south buildings. So for whatever reason, the bridge is labeled as south. We'll go with that. My office hours will be held. Again, another tricky one. Come and go. Very nice place to visit. Maybe not the best for office hours. At Chipotle, same deal. Excellent food. A little noisy. Campus office would be okay if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic, but because I want to try and protect myself and all of you, I'm going to hold office hours online via Zoom only. My office hours are going to be held after class. So I teach back-to-back on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons. I hold my office hours at the completion of the second class, so it'll be 3:30 to 4:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if no one is at my Zoom office hours, what will I do? I promise you that I will stay logged in. So you don't have to worry about missing office hours if you choose not to come when they start. However, if no one is there, I will find things to keep myself busy. So I'm going to select answers 2 and 3. So I'm going to hit enter to show you that nothing happens, meaning that these types of questions are not graded immediately. However, your work is saved. So you can save your work by hitting enter. There's also a button at the bottom that says check and save your answers. So if you're paranoid about making sure things are saved, which is a good strategy, you can hit that. So I want to point out that this system, if you were to exit this web page and come back and finish this homework at a later point, all of your current work will be saved. So all of the choices that you've selected here will be saved. All of your correct answers will be saved. Any questions that you do not yet have correct will still have blanks with which you can complete them. So with that being said, let's go to section 2. How many points total are the formative assessments worth towards your final course grade? I'm going to get this wrong on purpose. The correct answer is 12 because it's 88 for homework and 12 for formative assessments. I'm going to get this wrong to show you what it looks like after the fact if you are stuck with the wrong answer. How many days per week does this class meet? The answer will always be 2 because I cannot handle teaching for 3 hours straight the same material. And a lot of people don't want to sit for 3 hours straight in a statistics class. For how many regular class periods are we currently scheduled not to meet? As of right now, the correct answer is 0. I do not have any conferences that I will be attending, and as far as I know, we will be able to meet each day. If that changes, I will be sure to let you know. So I'm going to hit enter. And you can see that the red answer is still red. We're going to leave it that way for right now. Continuing on. In addition to these text paragraph completion type questions, you may just have the same type of question in a simpler multiple choice format. So we will answer these sorts of questions about the use of software first. So in terms of using SAS, it is currently available for free where? The correct answer for this is anywhere using the UIowa Virtual Desktop. So as noted in the syllabus, SAS also has an online web-based server type platform called SAS On Demand. I have not had a chance to play with that much, but it seems to work pretty well. What I would recommend for this semester is to use the UIowa Virtual Desktop, and that is available from anywhere if you have an internet connection and access to the VPN client to tunnel into the Iowa network. Stata is currently available for free on campus, through the desktop, or on your own computer. So the correct answer in this case is anywhere using the virtual desktop. In pre-pandemic times, it used to be the case that Stata was not available from off-campus. However, they have fortunately changed that, so you can access Stata using the virtual desktop from anywhere. If you want to install it on your computer, you would have to purchase a separate license, and so that is not the correct answer to this question about free access. But I'm going to go ahead and get this question wrong on purpose, just to show you what a wrong answer would look like after you submit your homework and the due date has passed. So we'll leave that right there. This class will use our software, which is currently available for free. And this time the answer is both on the virtual desktop and by installing it on your own computer. So I'm going to select 2 and 3 on that one. The reason people use R is because it is available for free to be installed on your computer. That is its primary selling point. So you can access it through the virtual desktop, but I would encourage you to download it onto your own machine so that you can get used to using it in that way. There's a link to the download for R and RStudio on the syllabus that you can use. Last but not least, this class will be. Choices are a breeze, which is an expression that means very easy, a nightmare, which is an expression that means very bad, or challenging but in a good way. And I hope that by the end of the semester you will agree with me that it's been challenging but helpful. That's my goal. So I'm going to hit check and save my answers, scroll back through, look at my choices, make sure that I am happy with my choices, leave this one wrong on purpose. SAS is on the desktop, Stata, this is wrong on purpose, only on campus, and then this one should be correct as well. So, you may think you are done because you've answered all of the questions. That is not the case. If you were to exit the web page at this stage, your work would be saved, but it would not be submitted for a grade. There is one extra step that I will need you to do to actually finish the work and submit it for a grade. And that begins with clicking this box that's called Submit Final Answers. So on this page, after you submit that, this is your last chance to read through everything and decide if you're happy. So you'll note that the drop-down menus have been removed, leaving only the selected answers. That way you can read through things more easily. Same is true with your answers to the multiple choice questions. So from this page, you have two choices. If you look at your answers and you decide that you want to change something, you can click the box that says, go back and change something, and you'll be able to do so. If you are happy with your answers, then you should re-enter your 8-digit Iowa ID in this box. And the reason that I do that is to prevent anyone from accidentally hitting the submit button before they are ready. So you will need to enter your ID to actually submit, and then you will click the button here. If you ever find that you submit by accident and you'd like to get access to your work again, please send me an email and I will be able to reset the system so long as no one is currently using it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this to show you what it will look like after you submit. So my fake person ID here, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm going to hit Submit Answers. Okay, so the screen looks exactly the same, except for a message at the bottom that says, yes, your answers have been submitted, and it will let you know when you will be able to view your scores. So within this demonstration login, I can view them anytime. So I'm going to go back to the main page to show you what that looks like. So once you have submitted an answer, the link for your homework will change to say View Submitted Answers instead. If you click this link before the due date, it will look exactly like it just did. If you click this link after the due date has passed, then you get to see how you did. So I'm going to click the link to show you what that interface will look like. So in this version of the web page, which is activated after the due date has passed, all of your previous computational answers that were correct will be shown in green, and all of your answers to these drop-down questions will also be green if they are correct. So in this first section, I gave correct answers so that you would see what the green looks like. In the second section, I missed a few questions on purpose. So on question 5, I had entered 10 as my last guess. That was not correct. it's showing me that the correct answer was 12. So even if you are unable to complete a particular question, after the due date has passed, it will tell you what the correct answer should have been so that you can hopefully work backwards and figure out where you went wrong. And this is something that I'm happy to help you with myself as well. Likewise, down on the results questions, those that are correct will turn green. Any incorrect answers will be shown in red, followed by the correct answer for what it should have been in green. So again, you can see what it should have been, work backward to figure out where you went wrong. At the bottom, it will compile your scores. So it tells you how many correct computational answers you had out of how many possible, and thus how many points you've earned out of the total. So because I missed one, I have fewer than 1 points here. I got 7 out of 8 results questions, again, a fraction of a point. So the number of points earned depends on how many questions there were, how many points those questions were worth, and how many you got correct. So it gives me a grand total of 1.73 points out of 2 for this homework. So I want to make a point while we're talking about points here. I got 2 of these questions wrong. Okay, so I missed 2 out of 15 questions. That's why I have a score of 1.73. Had I decided not to submit my work on time and kept working on those 2 questions, I would have gotten 1 point out of 2 because I would have had a point deducted for being late. So if you get stuck on 1 or 2 questions, it's probably better to go ahead and submit without those specific questions being answered so that you don't lose a full point for being late. You can submit late work at any point, though, if you are unable to get to it. And then last but not least here, if you want to see a fresh version of this homework, so what it looked like from the beginning, you can use another of the dummy logins, which is last name 13 and this password right here, 8 digits of the number 13. Once you go back to the page here, you'll notice that my points have not been updated down here. That is because I do that separately as a manual process after the due date has passed. So each time a homework closes, I download the data set, I look at how people did, I try to make sure there's no errors, and then I update the points on this landing page once I'm happy with how everything turned out. So it will take probably a day or 2 after the homework closes before your point totals will be updated here. But for most of the semester, you should be able to log in and see how you're doing at any point with respect to the homework points as well as with respect to the quizzes, the formative assessments that are in ICON. So that's it. I hope that this makes the process of doing homework less painful and maybe even a little bit enjoyable. But fortunately, you don't have any real homeworks to do for a few weeks yet. So I'm going to sign off for now, and I hope to see you all soon. Take care.